She left me for her ex, but still expected me to raise her kids. I refused. And the fallout was brutal. Hello, Reddit I+ here. If you asked me 2 years ago what my life looked like, I would have told you I was a husband, a stepdad to 2 amazing kids, and someone who thought he finally found a home after years of drifting. My name's Evan, I'm 32, and I met Jessica when I was 28. She was a year older, had 2 kids from a previous relationship, and this sort of wild, messy energy about her that made life feel less lonely. I fell for her quick, harder than I ever had for anyone else. Her kids, Tyler, 6 at the time, and Lacey, 4, were cautious at first, but after a few months, they were calling me Dad. Jessica's ex, Brandon, was a ghost. Some guy who floated in and out of their lives, usually leaving more chaos than when he showed up. So when Jess told me he was out of the picture for good, I didn't question it. I loved those kids like they were my own. Hell, I wanted to be their dad. We got married a year and a half after we met. Small ceremony, backyard, a few close friends. Nothing fancy, because we were saving to buy a house. Jess cried when she said her vows. I believed every word. But the thing about love is, when it dies, it doesn't announce itself. It erodes, slow, silent, tiny cracks you don't notice until the whole thing caves in. It started with late nights at work, then girls' weekends that turned into 4-day trips with almost no texts, then the secretiveness, changing her passcode, flipping her phone over when she sat it down. When I asked, she laughed it off. You're being insecure, Evan. You know you can trust me. And God help me, I wanted to, I needed to. The kids still clung to me like Velcro. Tyler started calling me Dad at school. He drew a family picture with me in it. Me, not Brandon. I was in too deep to see what was coming. The bomb dropped 6 months ago. She sat me down, stone-faced. Said she needed to be honest. Turns out, Brandon, the ghost, had come back around. Claimed he was clean now. Had a job, therapy, the whole redemption tour. And Jess? She'd been talking to him, seeing him, sleeping with him. She cried, said she was sorry, that it just happened and it was complicated and she was so confused. She said she loved me, but she loved him first. And she needed to explore that for the kids' sake. Explore it. Like we were discussing a vacation. I don't remember much after that. Just the sound of blood rushing in my ears and the kids playing Minecraft upstairs. Oblivious. I moved out that night, grabbed a duffel bag, a few clothes, left my toothbrush on the sink, left my whole damn heart there too. For a while, Jess and Brandon played house, family game nights, trips to the park, smiling Facebook posts. But then, about 2 months later, the calls started. Texts, voicemails. At first, it was about the kids. Tyler was struggling with the transition. Lacey was acting out. Brandon, it turned out, wasn't the new man he promised. He was working part-time, drinking again, disappearing for days at a time. And Jess wanted me to step back in. Not as her husband, no. As their father. She actually said, they miss you. They need you. You were always better with them than he ever was. Like I could just walk back into the same burning house she lit on fire. I told her no, firm final. She begged. Then guilt-tripped. Said I was abandoning them. That I was no better than Brandon. That's when I realized. She hadn't loved me. Not really. I was the stability, the handyman, the bedtime story reader. I was the guy who paid for soccer leagues and bought Christmas presents and bandaged scraped knees. I wasn't a husband to her. I was a replacement Brandon until the real one wandered back. And now that the fantasy crashed and burned, she wanted me to pick up the pieces. The fallout was ugly. Jessica's family, who once called me the best thing that ever happened to her, turned on me. Said I was turning my back on family. Friends we shared started pulling away. I got called heartless, coward, selfish. Tyler and Lacey, they tried calling me a few times. I didn't answer. Because what could I say? Sorry your mom picked your deadbeat dad over me. But hey, hope soccer's going great. I cried like a child those first few weeks. Mornings, nights, on my lunch break at work. I missed them so badly it felt like a bone sticking out of my skin. But I had to let them go. Because stepping back in, would have just taught them it was okay for people to use you. That love meant enduring betrayal over and over, and God help me. I couldn't let them believe that. Not because of me. Last I heard, Jessica and Brandon are taking a break. Brandon's back in rehab. Jessica's bouncing between jobs, trying to stay afloat. The kids? They're tough, resilient, but sometimes, late at night, I wonder if they remember the guy who used to tuck them in, who stood in the freezing rain to cheer at soccer games, who built that damn treehouse in the backyard with his bare hands. I wonder if they know I didn't walk away because I stopped loving them. I walked away because I did. Because sometimes love isn't holding on. It's knowing when to let go, even when it breaks you. About a month after I stopped answering Jessica's calls, I got served court papers. At first, I thought it was a mistake. No way she could. But there it was, in black and white. Petition for child support. Jessica had filed for child support, against me, for Tyler and Lacey, kids who weren't even mine by blood. Her claim? That I had acted as a de facto parent, that I had stepped into the parental role and assumed financial responsibility during our marriage. And in some states, our state, that can be enough. It didn't matter that I never legally adopted them. Didn't matter that their real dad was alive, if you could call it that. If a judge agreed, I could be on the hook for years of child support. For kids, she left me to chase their deadbeat father. When I tell you I felt like I was going insane, I would just sit in my car after work, gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white, wondering how the hell my life had turned into this. I hired a lawyer, cost me almost $5,000 just to retain him. Money I didn't have. I started missing work because of court dates and meetings. My boss noticed. Hours got cut. My friends, the few I had left, were divided. Some said I should do the right thing and pay because the kids love you. Others said, fight it. It's not your responsibility. My heart and my brain were at war every single day. The trial was brutal. Jessica's lawyer painted me as a father figure who abandoned 2 young children at a critical stage of development. They paraded photos, me at soccer games, birthday parties, Christmas morning, videos of Tyler calling me dad. The worst, a letter Lacey wrote, clearly coached, where she said, I miss my daddy Evan and wish he would come home. I nearly broke down in court. Jessica sat there the whole time, stone-faced, cold, like she wasn't the one who had ripped the family apart in the first place, like none of it was her fault. In the end, the judge ruled partially in my favor, because I hadn't legally adopted them, because Brandon was still technically their legal father, no matter how terrible he was, and because Jessica had unclean hands, a legal way of saying she's the one who caused this mess. I wasn't ordered to pay formal child support, but I was ordered to pay $7,000 in restitution for emotional hardship during the transition period. Essentially, a fancy way of saying, you didn't have to stay, but because you left suddenly, you owe them some money. $7,000, and a shattered heart I'd never get back. Jessica got to keep the house. Brandon eventually came crawling back, again. And me? I moved into a 1-bedroom apartment on the edge of town, started working nights just to make up the money I owed. I still see Tyler and Lacey's faces sometimes when I close my eyes, hear their laughter in quiet rooms. It doesn't matter how much time passes, some wounds don't close, they just scar. If there's one thing I learned, it's this. You can love someone with everything you have. You can build them a home, a life, a future. But if they don't love you back, truly, deeply, you are always one wrong move away from being nothing but a memory. Or worse, an enemy. And sometimes, the people you would have died for are the ones who will stand over your broken body, asking for a little bit more.